I ordered a brand new VFD or variable frequency drive from Hyung. It came from the Amazon.com. This is 4 kilowatt unit with a 5 horsepower capability. I just opened them up. This is brand new one. I just got it. I'm gonna program it from scratch. First thing that I'm gonna do, I have a transformer right in here that is changing the 110 to the 220. I'm gonna connect it to this, do the initial programming on this unit. That is again is Hyung right there. Is a 4 kilowatt, 5 horsepower. And then after I'm done with it, I'm just gonna start programming the ESP32 that I can remotely control my Hayward pump for the pool from inside the house. Of course, when I install that program, any iPhone, iPad that you guys have, you can connect to it and control the speed of it and timing and everything else. I'm just gonna pull this thing out and connect them to the 220, and then I'm just gonna show you some other snapshot. I'm going to be able to do it with one hand. So I'm just gonna stop the video, take them out, connect the wire to the 220, and then I'm just gonna start recording again. So again, this is the unit out of the box. I'm just going to open this. I do have a wire right in here that I can connect them to the right location and plug this thing to the 220 because this unit is a 220 volt. Okay, in here I open the terminal that you'll be able to see. The very first one right in here is going to be ground. Then we have RST if you have a 3-phase. In my scenario, I have 2-phase, so I'm just going to use the ground, R and S. I'm going to connect my wire, power them up, and then we're going to pick them up from there. So now I connect my wires. This is ready for 220. Again, I repeat, this is not going to be a 110 unit. This is 220 unit. And now when I power them up, I'm going to start programming about something between 12 to 15 different registers before I be able to remotely controlling this unit for the speed and timing. Okay, this is the software that I'm going to use. I already write the program for it. They call them OSC. I'm going to open them up. They call them touch OSC and say done. This is the screen that you're going to see. It has a 4 timer. The very first one, you cannot change the speed. It's running with a maximum speed 3600 RPM. That's going to be for priming. But for the other 3 timer, you can change the speed too. You can define what speed you want to run and how long you want to run. And then after the power connected to the VFD, it's just going to start it with a prime. You can define how long you want to prime it. For instance, between 1 minute, I believe I put until 90 minutes or so. And then after that, it's just going to jump through this 3 timer. If you set up this 3 timer, when you get to the last one, it's going to jump to the first one and it's doing it. It's not going to go to the prime. Other than that, you are power cycling the system. Now I'm just going to turn on the unit. This system it will going to get the power from the VFD. So if it's off, it does not work. The minute that you're turning them on, it's going to get activated, and then you can communicate with it and change the speed. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn on the VFD with a 220 volt or 240 volt, whatever they call them, and then see what's going to happen. Let me just see if I can connect this thing with one hand. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Yep. It's coming, the pump is coming up right now. As you can hear, the VFD fan is running right now. We're just doing some sort of a boot up. I already programmed this VFD, and also I already programmed my ESP82 8826 right in here. So let's see what's going to happen. Now the pump start ramping up. It's going to go to the 3600 RPM. I'm just going to refresh this to see what my setup is. My setup is going to say for the 1 minute maximum speed, and then we just want to go 76 minutes for 2007 RPM and so let me just measure the RPM right now for you guys. Let's see right in here. As you can see, it shows 35, 95. That's almost 3600 RPM here. Almost 3600 RPM, and it shows right in here 3600 RPM. So you can control the speed of this pump via this dial too, but not during the prime time. Right now, 1 minute is expired. Drop to the 2093, and I can just go ahead and change from this moment. I can change the speed of the pump on fly too. For instance, I'm just going to grab this dial right in here and moving on to the 1884. As you can see, this thing is going to be almost is going to get to that speed. Right now it says as a 1900. I'm just going to raise them up, go to the 2779. This one it shows 2800, 2800, it's pretty close. And the real speed right there on the pump is going to be, can just change this thing, this dial with any speed that you want. The minute that this little LED, yellow LED goes down, it's just gonna jump back to the timing that before you set them up. And then whenever it gets expired, it's just gonna go back and then do the same thing. You can go to the second page. Let me just go to the second page, and it shows. I set them up for instance for 5 minutes. It's running with the 3400. Let me just go back and update this, make sure that it's correct. For 1 minute, because it wasn't updated, for 1 minute it run with the 3600 RPM. I set them up that it run for 76 minutes for 2007 RPM, follow with a 93 minutes of the 2800 RPM, again for the 240 minutes of the almost 2000 RPM, that is a 1998. Why in the middle I do have a higher speed? Because during this time my booster pump is coming, that is circulating the water in a pool for the getting rid of the algae. And one of the use of this dial right in here, if you have a jacuzzi or something like that, you're sitting in there and you want to change the speed on fly, that the pump running faster, you can just grab them and moving them up. Right now I move them up to the 2600. Back down. The minute this LED, yellow LED goes off, the control go back to the timer that you do have from before. And anytime you move all of this timer and everything, is going to be saved on the memory of this chip. So if you are powering down the unit and when it's coming back, it remember what was the speed and what was the timing, everything is going to be recorded. So power interruption does not causing any problem. So as you can see right now, this dial doesn't do anything. If you want this dial work, instead of this, you have to move this jumper that is right in here, and as you can see, this is very compact. This is a 4 kilowatt. I'm currently using one of them on the same pump outside for more than a year. That is a 3 kilowatt unit. I bought the 4 kilowatt unit that is going to be a little better. Turn it on! What I forgot to mention is you can turn off this unit in any condition with the pressing the stop, and it's going to stop. If you want to turn them on again, then neither one of this button is going to work. The only way that you can turn on the unit again is power cycling, and then after power cycling again it's going to go to the prime time, and then follow up with the rest of the timing that you do have. Okay, that's it. Again, this is going to be the controller that I'm going to leave on right inside of this unit. You can just, if you want them, as I said, if you have them inside some metal box or something, you can just transfer them inside something like this. You can just open them up, put them in there. You just need a 3 wire. One is going to be for the plus 5 volt, one is going to be ground, and one is bringing the signal back again right in here to control the speed of the VFD. That's it. Okay, I shut the pump off right now, that you guys can be able to hear me a little better. As I mentioned, this control module, I just so small, I can just fit them inside of this. If it's not going to be inside the metal box, if it is, then you can remove, put them inside something like a PVC like this, away from the metal box, that the Wi-Fi does work. The range of the unit is just dependent how strong is your Wi-Fi. This is the old module that it was installed on top of this pump right in here. And this is the specification of the pump. It's a 3-phase pump made by the Hayward. And now a little about the software. As you can see, except the very first one that you can just change the timing for the primer, the rest of the 3 you can change the speed and the timing on the side. I'm just going to change the very last one, and I'll show you how this thing does work. I do have a red button right in here. If you press in that one, it's showing you the latest update, or you can wait every minute this thing is going to get updated. For instance, right now this thing is set up as a 597 RPM. I'm just going to go ahead and change them to the 2584, and I'm going to change my timing to the 92 minutes. I'm going to update it and then go to the next page, and then you can see all of those changes is going to be reflected right in here. So if the next time when the pump is when we recycle the power, the pump is going to follow this timing again. It's coming through currently 1 minute prime time, then 62 minutes with the 2093 RPM, followed with the 61 minutes of the 3396 RPM, then 92 minutes of the almost 2000 RPM, and then it's just going to recycle back to this one, not to the prime time. The only time that is going to go to the prime time is the time that you recycle the power. And again, this dial, if you just move I think after 600 or 700 RPM, this LED is coming up and it take over your timer, and then you just changing the RPM of your pump. And then if you want them to go back to the same timing that it used to be, just bringing them down till the LED goes off. And now if it was in the second timer, it's just going to follow up through that and continue working on that. This thing has 2 pages. One is going to be the one that is registered, and the one that is going to be is current one. It shows 0 because already the 5 minutes is expired. In here it said 5 minutes because initially it's been set up at 5 minutes. It's already on for more than 5 minutes. That's the reason that it shows 0. For instance, this timer, it shows right now 15. If you just go through the other page, it was setting up at 62 minutes. So about 40 minutes or so of it is already being expired. So that's the way that the system does work. It's pretty simple. As I said, I do have the same VFD. This one is a 4 kilowatt. I do have 3 kilowatt connected to the same type of the pump outside for more than a year, working without any problem. I bought this thing that it has a little 4 kilowatt that has a little more overhead, and the price was about $20 difference. So I bought them from Amazon, I think for $185, and programmed it that it be accepting the data from my ESP 8826 right in here. That's about it. If you have any question, please let me know, and we can pick them up. Okay, this is actual pump is running because kilowatt. I installed them last year. It's inside the metal box. For that reason, I put the ESP ADA 26 inside of that PVC. And then I brought the cable and connected to this. Right in here, I put a fan on top of this ESP because it's inside of the metal box enclosure and the sun is shining at it. So every time the ESP is running, every time that the VFD is running, the fan is continuously running too. This speed leg is coming down like this. This is the metal box that I built. You've seen this thing in the other video too. Now, what am I going to do right now? The pump is running at the almost 93, 96 RPM. As you can see, no vibration. The noise that you're hearing because the booster pump is on too right now. At the same time, to circulating the water in the pool. Now I'm just going to go back to the software and I'll show you. This is the software that I do have, and I'm going to go ahead and change the speed of the pump to the maximum speed. And this is going to be 3600 RPM, and the speed is going up right there. You can see it's just going to go up. You can hear the pump is ramping up. No vibration, no problem, working perfectly. I did not remove the whole module on them because it was flat, and I could install the other box on top of it. What is already disconnected and is running with this VFD right in here. The other VFD that I show you was a 4 kilowatt. This is 3 kilowatt, working the same way, doesn't matter. And as I mentioned, I'm using the 5 volt supply to power up the ESP ADA 26 that can control on the other phone. I can control on the multiple phone. I'm using the Apple stuff, but you can use it on any other smartphone. So I'm just going to bring the speed down. Let me just bring the speed down to the 1600, 1438. That the speed is ramping down right now. You can see it. It just keep going to go down to the 14. What is it? 1438, and then it's stop right there. Just going down slowly, it's ramping down. You can hear the pump. No air in it. That's a booster pump. This is the Hayward pump right there. Echo Star they call them. Alright, now as you can see, the speed it came down all the way. I'm just going to grab this thing and bring it up all the way down. That is not going to be controlling with this dial, and it's going to jump to the timer that it was. The timer, my guess was this very first timer that it said 2093. So the speed is going to go back up to the 2093. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just going to go to the second one. That is 3396 because the booster pump is running. I made a mistake on that. So it's just going to go up all the way right now to the 3396. Let's see if we get there. 3396 coming up. Yeah, I got 33 now. Well, 34. Well, yeah, see, that's a little tolerance is going a little above it, a little below it. And as you can see, no vibration. I mean, this piece of PVC, because it's up, it's tall, if it's any vibration, you'll be able to see no vibration. I bring them back up again to the 3600 RPM. That's going to be the maximum speed. See how quietly it's running. So you don't need to spend, I don't know, $500–600 for a module that you keep going out every couple of years. You can buy the $200, $180 module. Of course, this is just last 1 year, but I guarantee you that it's going to last as long, and it's much easier to repair or replace this unit. And it's much more versatile. Look at it. You can just control with all the iPhone, iPad, or smartphone that you do have at home without any issue. You just drop them back. below this, and you just want to go back to the speed. Okay. That's all that I was going to talk about.